singer, a music educator, and a voice teacher. She is the editor-in-chief of the Journal of the French Beethoven Society. She is also a professional member of RAPT, which stands for Recording Artists and Music Professionals with Disabilities, and a professional member of the Recording Academy. Finally, she is the founder of Arts Agli, a company that offers diverse activities related to accessibility and disability in the arts. And we will also have Shi Li. Shi Li is a dedicated classical pianist, currently enrolled in the Doctor of Musical Arts program at Western University here in Canada, where she also specializes in music cognition under the guidance of Stéphane Sylvester. Her profound commitment to accessible piano education stems from her own journey as an individual on the autism spectrum, navigating the world of music. She is passionately engaged in developing teaching methods tailored to neurodiverse students, particularly those who share her experience on the autism spectrum. She believes that music serves as both a means of communication and a powerful tool for neurodiverse individuals to express themselves. It acts as a bridge that connects people from diverse backgrounds, fostering unity. So without further ado, Diane and Shi.
We're going to wait for the technical part.
Yeah.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you, everybody. Well, it's my pleasure to open these sets of conferences. I hope you will have a good 2 days weekend of lots of discovery and lots of amazing new performances and new things you will learn and discover. So my name is Diane, pronouns she, her, and I will give you a short description. I am a woman with short hair, blue eyes, I wear glasses. Today I wear a black ensemble with long sleeves. I'm not going to tell you the same as the bio, but basically I'm a PhD candidate in musicology at York University, one of the universities around. I'm also the founder of Arts Agli. This company works with performers with disabilities, also with academics, with teachers, with diverse artistic structures. So I'm going to talk a bit about that. And this first slide here is my title slide. It says shifting positions, singing with a changing body. And there is also a picture here on this slide that represents 4 young people and someone in a wheelchair seen from the back. So the person in a wheelchair is me. And these are young students I work with. They have their hands over their eyes because they are singing with sign language a song, and the lyrics of the song were saying something like, "We cannot see," so that's one of the workshops I will talk about. And so I am also a singer, and I have a progressive neurological disease that started in my pre-teenage years. So basically before that, I could attend a regular school and music education. And so I was on stage at the age of 4, not thanks to my parents, but thanks to my teachers who detected there was something over there. But in my home, there was a lot of music. We listened to a lot of music. And I had my mom who was a jazz fan, and my grandmother was a classical music fan. My grandfather was a jazz fan. My father is a classical music fan. So really, I had both, right? I was always a bit of both in my whole life. And so I grew up in the Netherlands and in France. That were my 2 countries. And in these 2 countries, there is a lot of music education. So it was really awesome for that very good period. And I was always interested in both classical music and jazz. But the music school I attended when I started to consider a more serious music education was a conservatory in Paris, and they had a good jazz program. So I got enrolled, and when I started to sing, I was standing. But I was already thinking outside the box, so these two pictures here. When you are in the conservatory, I'm gonna just do that once again for these people over there, you see? And so there's this picture on the right, it's me playing the saxophone, because I decided not to go for traditional, you're gonna choose the piano because you're a singer. No, I refuse that. I want to do saxophone. And you're gonna do classical music and you're gonna do this technique. No, I'm gonna do both. I'm gonna do jazz and classical, and whatever you say doesn't matter. So they accepted that, and the picture on the left is actually me at one of these young, talented musician camps in the summer. And this one is taken in the Alps of High Provence, in a very famous one for kids who are actually jazz musicians who want to be professionals, with master classes, and lots of people all around the world coming. And so this was really where I started to learn jazz and the classics of jazz. And so I'm gonna start going with She, who's gonna play with me Summertime. It was one of the first classical things that I learned over there, right? Classic jazz. Summertime, and the living is easy. Fish are jumping, and the cotton is high. Oh, your dad is rich, and your mom is good looking. So hush, little baby, whoa, don't you cry. One of these mornings, you're gonna rise up singing. Yes, you'll spread your wings and you'll take to the sky. Ba-ba-ba-ba-oh. But till that morning, there is nothing can harm you. With Daddy and Mommy standing by. Summertime, and the living is easy. Fish are jumping, and the cotton is high. Your dad is rich, and your mom is good looking. So hush, little baby, whoa, don't you cry. Whoa. So, between the age of 11 and 13, I started experiencing mobility issues. So, I was constantly going from standing to using crutches. And so it was supporting my mobility, but then what I realized is that it could also help me in my vocal technique. So I started losing this control of my balance. And this was actually what I used, switching from 2 legs to 4 legs. Like I have 4 legs now, but I can also use this kind of, okay, there is something happening here with my vocal cords or with my chest and everything. So I started working on that technique a little bit more. And so I started improving that by myself. I had no teachers showing me how to do that. And at the age of 18, I started using a wheelchair. And at this stage, there was another position, right? Shifting the position. So I could try to use this technique that I learned. And I am actually, I started to do more classical music at this time. 18 is where I said, okay, I'm gonna explore more things in that classical field. And I am a contralto, so I have a low voice. And what I did is that I started exploring this Baroque repertoire where there is a lot of contralto stuff. And I kept doing something that was, okay, let's try to find the balance part that I was finding with my crutches. And this is exactly what I'm doing. So my legs are now on the ground and not on the wheelchair anymore. I'm still supporting myself, sorry for the noise here, still supporting myself with the wheelchair, but I'm actually gonna do something, is that I'm gonna put my hands over there. And this is my steady position where I am opening my chest, like using this, and this is what I'm doing when I'm singing contralto, which is absolutely not the contralto technique that you would learn if you are like standing and doing, oh, you know, it doesn't matter. I wanted to explore my own. So I started doing that, and and we're gonna sing another thing with she, if I can find my score, which is here. And one of the repertoires is, for example, Vivaldi's Stabat Mater. And this Vivaldi Stabat Mater is a great piece for contralto. We wanted to choose a section of this to play for you together today with she. So this is me today. Today, when I arrived in Canada, actually, I was not only continuing singing, that was one thing that I wanted to do, but I also teach now, and I'm also a disability activist, disability rights activist. So I did a master in musicology at York University on the subject of disability and disability representation in music. And during this period, I started interviewing a lot of people to talk about some subjects in that representation of disability in music. And I learned a lot, and actually some people here are today present. So John, I interviewed you with great discussions about the social model and how you built the Telecaster and things like that. And you ended up being in my master. Molly, we did several projects together. I talked about your work a lot, and I wrote a book chapter that will be published this year in a book about her composition practices and social model and how everything developed in her compositions. There is also online, Stefan, we're also online, right? I don't know if we are, but Stefan Honish, you're gonna hear about him. We did some projects together too, so it's great. I learned a lot in this process, and so I wanted also to do some other things outside this rigid structure of the PhD. So one of the things I did is that I worked with Community Music Schools of Toronto, Richard Marcella over there. So when I worked with him, I started to implement, I did a pilot project in CMST. It was to implement workshops about instruments and voice, adaptive instrument and voice in music education. And it was a great project. I worked with the school, with the teachers who are very helpful, and of course the students who really enjoyed themselves. So I wanted to give you a preview of that. We don't have a lot of time for that, but so these pictures over there that you can see are the same. I'm gonna try to get out of your way for those who are in the middle. So these pictures, you can see here we have an ASL performer who I invited, Gateway Persaud. She did one of the guest workshops about ASL music. In the middle, we have some new technology workshops, like a bit what you're doing in the lab, but this one was a discovery one, and this was I use a Tenorion for the discovery of that. But then there are so many other things. There is a theremin over there. So I wanted to, this is the other side. I wanted to give you a preview of that. Also, I work with 4 or 5 years old. So these were last year, how to make them discover ASL singing, right? So the sign language. So we did Baby Shark together, and this is what it did. 1, 2, 3, Baby Shark, Baby Shark, Baby Shark, Baby Shark, Mommy Shark, Mommy Shark, Mommy Shark, Mommy Shark. Without realizing, they're already singing with sign language, so 4 or 5 years old, right? And then these, so this is a quick preview of one of the workshops we did, which was the adaptive music instrument. So there was the AUMI inside that, like the adaptive universal music instruments, and other things. So this is a bit noisy because the aim was that they can discover, right? So they all played with it. I cannot stand, right? Yeah. I cannot stand, like on my legs. So big instruments like double bass, I cannot play double bass. It's too high for me. I cannot reach the top. Also, when someone plays the piano, you can see there is a little pedal here. I cannot use the pedal. So when someone cannot use some part of the body, we need to figure out what to do, because we can still play music. I have 3 different kinds of instruments here, and the 3 of them we can play a bit differently than what you play usually. Yeah, press it, go ahead. Yeah. One after the other, right? Not on the, yeah, stop. Let's listen to it. Who can clap it? Yes. Okay, who wants to try? Come, one after the other. So, you put your hands, go ahead, and you try to find, yeah, that's it. And yes. And do this on the other side like that. Yay! Go ahead. Find it, yes. Here we go. For the last 10 minutes, I want you to try to find a funny sound on all the instruments, and we're going to do a rhythm exercise, and you're going to find your sound. Did you like playing all these different instruments?
Yeah.
That's great, huh? So, if one day in your life you meet someone who has like, I don't know, someone in a wheelchair, someone with no arms, they can still play the instruments, and that's how they do that. That's one of the ways they do it. The idea is more to make them think, right? They're like, okay, how does it work? And the older ones, it's sometimes, I mean, we had other kind of discussions, like someone's like, no, someone modified this video. No, it's how it's played. And so I really like that. So with all that, what I wanted to do is I wanted to use all that, right? I wanted to have like these workshops, discussions we had. So I created Artsably for that, for really to have that, to continue these conversations outside, like not with the academic world. Okay, it's done. We have done that. Now let's do that. So on February 8th, a few weeks ago, I launched officially Artsably. And right now we have a website with tons of resources, movies and films and books that talks about disability and accessibility in the arts. We have a newsletter. We have a podcast called Artsably in Conversation, where I start to interview artists, performers, but also academics. So I try to alternate one academic, one performer or ensemble. So the one yesterday was probably was an academic. Next week's going to be Xenia Concerts, who is an ensemble playing here with audiences with autism and also lots of different disabilities. They have lots. They are awesome. Like if you don't know Xenia Concert, that's a great place to do that. So anyway, so visit the website if you want and tell me what is missing, because we are always willing to like add something. Okay, I saw your resource part, but there is a missing part about whatever. Let's discuss, and maybe we can do that. That's how things happen, right? By discussions. So, to end, because this is really my conclusion, we want to do a very short piece. It's the end of this Stabat Mater, and it's fun. I really enjoy that, and that's it.
Thank you so much, Diane. Thank you so much, Shi. Please, one more time, round of applause.